Hello everyone. In this video, we will discuss about multi-level queue scheduling. So far, we discussed many scheduling algorithms, all are said to be CPU scheduling. In those algorithms, we have only one ready queue, and in the ready queue, so obviously it will maintain only one queue. But if you go and check it with this kind of scheduling, that is multi-level queue scheduling, we have many different levels of queue in that will be maintained in the ready queue. So we have lot of different levels of queue in the ready queue. So that is what multi-level queue. So how the different levels of queue can be maintained in the ready queue? It is based on the type of the process whatever we have that may enter into the system, because we have many varieties of process, which means the process may be of type interactive process, or it might be of any batch process, or it might be of any system process like that. So we have many different kinds of process. So based on the type of a process, we have to maintain different levels of queue in the ready queue. So this is what multi-level queue scheduling. So here the process is majorly categorized into two. One is foreground process and another one is background process. So what do you mean by foreground process? So all the interactive process that comes under foreground process. So which means the interactive process, which are nothing but it can be executed in time sharing environments and also within a minimal response time. If it produces the output, then we can call those process also to be interactive process. And if it needs any changes, which means changes can be done frequently in case of interactive process, we can call those process as interactive editing process, right? So what do you mean by background process? The process which does not have any interaction with the users. Simply user will enter the process into the system, and the system will automatically execute those process whatever entered by the user. So in between the execution, it does not need any interaction with the user. So that is what we are calling as a batch process. And obviously batch process will works under non preemptive mode, because in the middle of execution there is no way of releasing that particular process from the CPU. That is what non preemption mode. So that is what we are following in order to execute any background process, which is nothing but batch process, right? So here we have lot of process, and if you assign some priority to some process, and based on the type of scheduling algorithms, the process may be executed by the CPU. Suppose if you go and check it with the FCFS, that is first come first serve, so what happens there? The process will not be preempted at all until its completion. Otherwise, if it gets any interrupt, otherwise if it gets any IO operation, IO request, so only at that time the process can be released from the CPU. Otherwise, it will not release that particular process. After the completion of that particular process, then only it can be released from the CPU. So this is what non-preemptive. So if you go and check it with the FCFS, that will works and only under this non-preemption. Suppose if you go and check it with round robin, so what happens? What is the concept behind that? So you have to allot some time quantum for each and every process. So based on the time slicing or a time quantum, the process will be executed. If it exceeds the time quantum, the process will not be executed. So it has to stop its current execution. So uh, the process does not release voluntarily. So we are just forcibly. So we are attaining the forcible release, or the uh, relieving the process from the CPU. So this is what the round robin. So what happens here in case of FCFS? What is the overhead we are facing? Because it is a non preemption, we if you have the mixture of IO bound process as well as CPU bound process, if you have the good mixture, then no problem. Suppose if you have only CPU bound or otherwise only IO bound, then the efficiency will be slowed down. So which means we will not get the better utilization of CPU. So even in the multi-programming or multi-processing environment, so in order to overcome those overhead, so we are actually assigning some priorities. So whichever the process should have the higher priority, it must be given initially to the CPU for execution, and the processes that has the lower priority, so it can be given after the high priority jobs. So we are assigning the priority based on the type of the process. So how we are assigning the priority based on the type of the process. If it is a system process, then it can be assigned as a higher priority. If it is an interactive process, the next priority can be given to the interactive process. So as you see this particular different levels of the system process, processes. So we are maintaining for each and every type of the process, we are maintaining separately the levels of queue in the ready queue, right? So in the ready queue itself, each and every column or the row which represents one queue, one separate queue. So it does not mean each and every row may consist of a single process. It may consist of a queue, and that queue may consist of many set of process. So here, if you look at this, so first priority, very highest priority will be given to the system process, and the next higher priority will be given to interactive process, and the next one interactive editing process, and the next one batch process. So as you all know, batch process, it works only in non-preemption mode, so we are assigning some lower priority to this batch process. So in this way, the all the process will be executed. So if you look at this, the interactive process will not be executed until the completion of all the process that we have under system process queue. So only after completing all the set of process whatever we have under system process, then only the interactive process can be executed. In the same way, after the completion of all the process under this type, the next type of a process, that is next queue, whichever holding the number of process, can be executed one by one, right? So under the interactive editing process, whatever the set of process we have, so one by one this will be executed. And finally we are moving to the batch process, so which means the process can be scheduled level by level. So only after the first completion of the first level, second level process can be executed. After the completion of first and second level, third level process can be executed. After the completion of these three levels, fourth level process can be executed. This is what the concept of multi-level queue scheduling. Okay, so somewhat extension of this multi-level queue scheduling, we have one more scheduling type, that is multi-level feedback queue scheduling. So what do you mean by feedback queue scheduling? So let us discuss that. Suppose so in this diagram, so we have one level in the very first level, and in case of multi-level queue scheduling, in all the levels we need to follow FCFS scheduling algorithm. So what kind of method we are actually, so what scheduling algorithm we need to follow at different levels. In all the levels we have to follow first come first serve, right? Whichever the process that enters into that particular level, that process will be scheduled initially. So that is what FCF is. And it is a non-preemption, right? So only the higher priority process will be executed initially. After the completion of all the higher priority process, then only the low priority process can be scheduled. This is what the concept of multi-level queue scheduling. Now, so we are actually getting the drawback in case of multi-level queue scheduling, that is aging. uh, Starvation. So starvation, which is nothing but so we are concentrating only on the higher priority jobs, so low priority jobs does not be scheduled even for a very long time. Okay, so we are just keep on executing only the higher priority process, so the low priority process cannot be scheduled before the execution of high priority process. Okay, so what we are doing here, we are just getting the starvation again. So we are just overcoming that using the next kind of scheduling, that is multi-level feedback queue scheduling. So here we are just following the same structure whatever we followed in multi-level, but the only difference is the process can be moved in between the different levels of queue. In case of multi-level, we cannot move the process from one queue to another queue, or from one level of queue to another level of queue. But here we can move the process from one level of queue to another level of queue. That is possible in case of multi-level. So using this kind of technique, we can reduce the drawback, or we can overcome it. So which means the starvation, so which means the low priority process will not be wait for a long time before the execution of higher priority and one more thing, what is another difference we have under multi-level feedback queue? For each and every levels of the queue will follow the round robin scheduling. So not all the levels, some of the levels will follow the round robin scheduling algorithm, and some of the level will follow the FCFS, which means the lowest level of the queue will follow the FCFS because we don't have further levels. So we can follow this particular FCFS itself because that is the last process we have. We don't have any further process. So if you go and check it, if you follow this kind of scheduling algorithm, it will be better. Okay, so here if you look at this, the first level of queue consists of some set of process, and all the process can be scheduled based on the round robin scheduling. So if you go and follow the round robin scheduling, then obviously you need to maintain the time quantum. So here we are just providing the time quantum period as 8 milliseconds, say for example. Okay, for the very first level, so it is not necessary to have only this 8 milliseconds, so you can have some shorter time quantum period for the first level of process. Okay, and the next level of process, here again we are following the round robin scheduling, and whatever the time quantum period, we are assigning it as somewhat greater than the previous time quantum period, right? So here we are just assigning it as 16, which is somewhat greater than the time quantum what we have assigned in the previous level. So here it is 16, and further if you have any other level in between this, so you can raise the time quantum period somewhat higher, like 20 or 25, something like that we can high. Otherwise we can double it like 632, right? So here whatever the process we are scheduling, it will be executed only for that this time limit, that is 8 milliseconds. If some process exceeds this time quantum period, then that particular process will be moved down to the next level of queue. So we are just not maintaining the same process whatever we have scheduled already in the same queue, right? So if the process has been scheduled and it does not complete its operation before the time limit, so what is the time limit here we have given? It is 8 milliseconds. So before this 8 milliseconds, if it is not possible to complete its execution, then that particular process can be moved to the next level. Okay, so that is what feedback queue. So we are just moving to the next level, so we are just maintaining at the tail of this queue. So now that same process will be executed for 16 millisecond because we have increased the time quantum in the next level, so it will be executed. So obviously that process will complete, so 80% or 90%, even 90%, all the process gets completed in the second level itself. If suppose some of the process which needs some more time, even then we have given 16 milliseconds, even then if it needs some more time in order to complete its operation, then we are just moving to the next level of queue. Okay, so here we have the third level of queue as the final level. So all the process that enters into this final level of queue will follow this FCFS, which means first come first serve scheduling algorithm. So here we are not following round robin because this is the last level. So whichever the process that enters, it has to complete its operation. So we are not setting any time limit here, so we cannot follow round robin at the last level of queue. So we are just following FCFS. So obviously all the process gets completed at this level. It cannot be moved to the next level because we don't have the next level, right? So this is what the concept of multi-level feedback queue scheduling. So how the process can be scheduled, so based on the levels, which means different level of queue. And in the very first level we need to maintain some shorter time quantum, and in the next level it could be raised somewhat, right? Subsequently, we are raising this time quantum period for each and every next level, and afterwards when it reaches the last level, so no need of following the round robin, because it has to complete its operation, the process has to terminate at the last level, so we are following this FCFS. Okay, now if you want to follow this kind of scheduling, then you need to maintain some of the parameters. So what are all the parameters of this type of scheduling algorithm? First one is number of queues. So what are all the number of queues we have? So which means how many number of queues you have for in I mean, so based on the type of the process, we can maintain the different queues, or based on some other features also, we can maintain the different levels of queues. So how many number of queues we are actually going to maintain? So that is one of the parameter. And the next one is what kind of scheduling algorithm you need to follow for different levels of queue. So in this example, in the very first two levels, we have followed the round robin, and the last level we just followed FCFS. So like that, you have to mention which what are all the scheduling algorithm you're going to use at different levels. And the next one is you need to determine some method to when to upgrade the process. Okay, so when to upgrade the process, so either to the previous level or to the second level. So when to demote the process, which means, so if the process does not complete its operation, automatically that process will be placed in the next level, so we are just demoting it, right? And the next one, so which queue will be, so again we need to follow any one of the method to determine which queue will be followed. As I told, so there are many different levels of queue, and each queue must maintain the different types of the process, right? So we have to mention, so which of the queue will hold the higher priority, which means the first level. So that decision also be taken, and it could be treated as one of the parameter for this multi-level feedback queue scheduling. So these are all the things that we need to know under this multi-level feedback queue scheduling. Thank you.